Marco's here for FightHubTV.com, standing with Nonito Donaire's trainer, Robert Garcia. First off, Robert, I wanted to take a little step back on this fight. I know you were preoccupied with Antonio Margarito and then coming into Nonito's camp. How was that? Was that hard being away from Nonito, or you guys picked off really, really quick?
You know what, we were on the phone all the time, you know, I was calling him, his wife, you know, how's training going, how many rounds they're doing, you know, work this, work that, you know, so, you know, I'm on top of it, you know, even though I'm working with Margarito, I was still, you know, in touch with them, you know, but I was surprised. I came into training camp 3 weeks before the fight, and he surprised me with the way he was training, the condition that he had, doing 12 rounds without a problem, very happy, very, very motivated, you know, that just showed me that, you know, even though I came in late, you know, he was doing his job.
What was the plan coming into this fight against an opponent as Sidorenko?
You know what? You know, I was surprised that Nonito dropped him so easy and made the fight so easy. You know, I expected a harder fight. I knew you know, Sidorenko was tough, former world champion, never been out. So you know, we expected a little bit of a tougher fight. You know, Nonito's just so skillful and, you know, so quick, so fast that, you know, it just made it a very, very easy fight.
Now, observing the fight, Nonito came out very aggressive, and he was finding a home for the hooks. Was that something that you guys worked on in training camp, or that just sort of came out in the fight?
You know what? He worked on that hook. You know, that counter after that right hand, that hook over. You know, he dropped them once with that, and you know, he practiced that. You know, that's the punch that he told me. You know, this is a punch I feel that I could hit him with, and so we started working at it, and you know, did it. You know, that's just what happened. You know.
I know during the later parts of the rounds, Sidorenko did catch Nonito with straight rights, and I think that was due to the cut. He wasn't looping over anymore. How did Nonito react to those hits?
Oh, you know what? He's a fighter. You know, everybody's got to get hit. So you know, we know that. You know, hey, you know, we got to, you know, practice. You know, hands up a little more, maybe a little more head movement. But hey, it's a sport. Everybody gets hit, and you know, sometimes, you know, we might end up, you know, getting hit and getting cut, or maybe getting dropped. You know, that's just part of boxing. Hey, it's full of boxing's full of surprises. So you know, we expect to get hit also. You know, he's ready for that, and he's a warrior. He's got a tremendous heart. So you know, he knows that he's got to get hit too.
It seems that with every fight, Nonito's confidence is growing, and he himself feels that he's getting better and better. Coming into this Montiel fight, what are some things you're going to work on with Nonito to prepare? Because that's a tough fight. Montiel is someone that's almost on the level, I want to say, of Nonito skill-wise. It's a very tough fight for him.
Montiel is a tremendous fighter, tremendous Mexican champion, you know, 3-time world champion. You know, we can't take nothing away from him. We can't take this fight light. You know, I've seen his fights and he's looked tremendous. But you know, now that we got to focus on his fight, you know, then I'm going to studying his videos and studying a game plan. Right now, I don't have a game plan. You know, I know he's a tremendous fighter, and we're in for a hard fight. But you know, the skills that Nonito has, the speed, you know, the footwork that he's got, you know, anything could happen, you know. So, you know, expect a great fight. That's what I'm expecting, but it could turn out into an easy fight just like tonight.